Hi everybody, this is Heather Satterley coming to you from Satterley Training and Consulting. Today we're going to go through a workflow solution setting up and tracking prepaid multiple session sales in QuickBooks Online Plus. So many service-based businesses sell multi-session packages to their customers. An example could be a massage therapist, a personal trainer, chiropractor, or even maybe a sports complex that sells 6 sessions for a discounted rate, and they need to keep track of when their customers use these different sessions. So, they need to know how many sessions have been used by the customer, and they also need to know how many are still available to be used. You can set up and track these types of transactions in QuickBooks Online Plus, and you can even automate the future transactions so that your financial statements are accurate. This method works really well for an accrual basis business, meaning that the revenue isn't recorded until the session is used by the customer. It's not going to reflect, this method is not going to reflect the correct revenue on a cash basis P&L. For this demonstration, we're going to be setting up a 6-session package for a massage therapist client. So each 60-minute massage costs $75 regularly, but you can buy 6 sessions for $375 or at a discounted price of $62.50 each if you buy all 6 at one time. So let's go ahead and jump into QuickBooks. We're in a sample company, and we're actually going to set up this company from scratch to handle this type of transaction. We'll go through the setup process, then we're going to go through the process of recording the transactions, and then I'm going to show you how to create reports so that you can keep track of how many sessions are still available to your customers and how many have been used. And also, you'll be able to use that as a work paper to tie out the unearned revenue liability account. So our first step is to go ahead and set up the accounts. We have to create the general ledger accounts so that they're properly reflected on our financial statements. So we're going to actually create 2 accounts. We're going to create an income account and we're going to create a liability account. To create a new account in QuickBooks Online Plus, I'm going to go to the gear icon and I'm going to choose Chart of Accounts. And this is a brand new company, so we don't see a whole lot of accounts here, and that's okay for our purposes today. We're going to go ahead and click New, and the first account that we're going to create is an income account. So I'm going to choose Income from the category type, and then I'm going to use Service Fee Income for the detail type. And I'm going to call this Massage Revenue. That's going to be the name of my account. I'm going to go ahead and save and close to create that new income account. Now, the next account that I'm going to create is a liability account called Unearned Revenue. So we're going to click New again, but this time I'm going to choose Other Current Liabilities as my category type, and I'm also going to choose Other Current Liabilities as my detail type. And I'm going to name this Unearned Revenue, and I'm going to go ahead and save and close to save that liability account. And you can see them right here on my chart of accounts. I have my unearned revenue and I have my massage revenue. And for the purposes of this demonstration, those are the only accounts that we really need to create. And that's the only account that you're going to need to create to do this workflow. Okay, our next step in this workflow is to create our product and service items. And we're going to create 3 service items, 3 service items. So to do that, we're going to go on over to our gear icon again, but this time we're going to choose products and services. It's going to open up our product and services list. So let's go ahead and create our new items. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a service item for a 60-minute massage. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on service and I'm going to give the item a name. So I'm going to call this a 60-minute massage. And I can choose a category here. So if I'm going to call this actually regular services as the category, because I want to differentiate between my regular services and my prepaid services. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And it's really convenient that I can save that right here in the setup screen for my service item. I'm going to come down here and enter in a description, 60-minute massage, and I'm going to give it a sales price. And in this case, our sales price is going to be $75, and I want it to, every time I use this, I want it to credit that massage revenue income account that I just created. I'm going to go ahead and save and close to save this new product and service. Okay. The next service item that I'm going to create is going to be my unearned revenue service item. So I'm going to go ahead and click New again, and I'm going to create another service item. And this time I'm going to call it Session 60-minute massage. Oops, I have an extra S in there. Okay, and then for my category here, I'm actually going to create a new category called Prepaid Sessions. And I'm going to go ahead and click Add, save it, and this way I'll be able to keep track of those types of products and services in my products and services list. I'll be able to actually very quickly view those types of services. Because if you imagine, this massage therapist probably has different lengths of massages and different types of massages. So they may have an 80-minute massage, a 120-minute massage, maybe they do a chair massage, and they may want to be able to sell all of those types of massages as a package. So that's why I'm creating a different category, because that will help me when I'm sorting my product and services list. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put session 1, and I could actually leave this blank and you'll see why in a minute. I'm going to put session and then I'm going to call it 60-minute massage. Okay, and I'm going to put in for a sales price $62.50 because I want to give, if you buy 6 massages, I want to give you 1 free. So that's my discounted rate, and that's important. You'll find out why in just a minute. I'm going to also come down here. I'm going to choose this time for my account. I'm not going to choose that revenue account, right? Because when I sell these packages, it's actually unearned revenue. It doesn't become revenue until I actually give the massage. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to choose that unearned revenue liability account, and I'm going to go ahead and save and close that. And now you can see on my product and services list that I have the prepaid sessions. So I have a session for 60-minute massage, and I have regular services. And my 60-minute session is a discounted rate than my regular session because I want to sell that in bulk. You'll see where that comes in just a second. Now we're going to create our third type of item. And the third item is going to be a bundled item. So I'm going to go ahead and create new, and I'm going to come right down here and I'm going to choose bundle as the type of item. Now a bundled item in QuickBooks allows us to have one item that actually pulls over several different component items onto an invoice. And we can choose to either show our customers all of those component items on the invoice or hide them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this bundle So I'm going to call this bundle 6 60-minute massage sessions. That's going to be the name of it. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in, 6 60-minute massage sessions. Okay, and I want to put in the sales information too. And a little trick that you can do is you can go ahead and copy and just paste that right there so I don't have to retype it, which is really nice. Now I'm going to come down here under where the product and service grid is, and I'm actually going to put in the sessions. So I'm going to choose that prepaid session, and I'm going to put in a quantity of 6. Now, that's where the discounted rate comes in. The price of this bundle is the sum of all of the component parts, or the prices of all the component parts. So if I had just used that regular 60-minute massage that was tied to the income account, 2 things would happen which I don't want to happen here. The first thing is it would hit that income account. When I sold the session, it would actually credit income. Now for a cash basis, taxpayer maybe or maybe not, that's okay. That may or may not be okay. If I'm just selling it on a cash basis and I don't want to track it, that would be fine. But in this case, this is an accrual basis. This is an accrual basis accounting system, and I want to actually track my unearned revenue. And I also want to give them, that sixth massage free. So I'm going to charge them for 5 and they're going to get 6 free. So that's why I'm choosing 6. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close that. Okay, so now I have that bundle item right up here that include 6 of these 60-minute massages. Okay, so that's it. I'm done with the setup part. Okay, so now we're actually going to go through the workflow. Okay, so for our workflow, our first step is to go ahead and create the sale of the package. So to do that, I'm actually going to create a sales receipt because I'm going to receive the money from my customer at the time that I'm selling it to them. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the Quick Create menu at the top right of the screen, and I'm going to choose Sales Receipt as the transaction type. I'm going to put in my customer's name. So we have John Doe here. And I could put information about here. Say I wanted to update his address. I could do that right from within the screen. And then I'm going to choose a payment method. So we'll choose credit card. And we're going to deposit this to checking. We're going to deposit to our checking account. So right under here in the product and services grid, I'm going to go ahead and enter in that 60-minute massage and see that it charged our customer $375. Now I just want to show you something real quick. If I click on print or preview, notice that what the customer is going to see is they're just going to see that 6 60-minute massage sessions. They do not see the component parts at all here because I didn't check the box when I set up that bundle item to show that information on my invoice. So they have no idea what's going on behind the scenes on this invoice. Only we do. So I'm going to go ahead and create that, and I'm going to save it. And I want to show you real quick the journal entry behind this transaction that we just created. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to click More. Okay, and that is going to open up this menu where I can actually view the transaction journal right here. I'm going to click on that. This transaction journal actually shows us the journal entry behind the transaction. So I'm just going to move some of these columns here for you so we can see the accounts a little bit better here. So you'll see here that this transaction, what it actually did behind the scenes is it debited our checking account for $375 and it credited that unearned revenue account for $375. So it's not going to hit my profit and loss right now. It's going to go right to my balance sheet because I haven't really earned the money. I've sold these sessions, but I haven't actually earned the money. So that's our first step, is to go ahead and create that sales receipt, and we receive our money and we credit that unearned revenue account. Now we're going to create 6 delayed charges that we will eventually use to record the revenue portion every time we give a massage to our customer. So to create the delayed charge, we're going to come up here to the Quick Create button again, and this time I'm going to choose Delayed Charge. Now keep in mind that you only have delayed charges in the QuickBooks Online Essentials and QuickBooks Online Plus subscription levels of QuickBooks Online. So in order to do the workflow that I'm showing you today, you must have at least QuickBooks Online Essentials to do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up these 6 delayed charges. Now, delayed charge in QuickBooks is a non-posting transaction. So when I'm recording these delayed charges, I'm not actually affecting my profit and loss or my balance sheet or my financials in any way whatsoever. All I'm doing is I'm creating placeholder transactions that I can use later to record that income when I actually perform the service or give the massage in this case. So let's go ahead and set up these delayed charges. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my customer's name. My delayed charge date can be today's date. Whenever I create the invoice, that's going to be the invoice transaction date. But I want my delayed charge to reflect today's date because that's when I'm selling the package. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to choose that 60-minute massage, the session 60-minute massage. And this time, I'm going to actually make that a negative because what I want to happen is I want it to debit that unearned revenue account every time I use this delayed charge. And then I'm going to sell my client a 60-minute massage, which is a regular service. All right, now remember, we sold this massage at a discounted rate. So I want to go ahead and change my rate in the delayed charge so that the total on my delayed charge is 0. That's really important. We've got to have that delayed charge be 0. Otherwise, when we pull this over onto an invoice, when we give the massage, it's actually going to create a balance due for our customer, and we don't want that because they've already paid for the session. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to save the first session. And what I like to do is right in here under the description, I'm going to go ahead and put in session 1. Okay, so this is my first session. And then I'm going to go ahead and come down here and I'm going to save in new. Okay, so I created my first session. Now I need to create 5 more. Now think about this. I really don't like doing things from scratch over and over again, so I'm going to show you a trick on how you can really quickly and easily create all 6 of these delayed charges. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the top left of the screen and we're going to click on the recent transaction icon. It's going to show us the delayed charge that we just created. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that to pull up that delayed charge that we created just a few minutes ago. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the More button and I'm going to copy this transaction. So we're going to click More and then we're going to copy the transaction. And that is going to create a second delayed charge that says the exact same thing, looks exactly the same. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in here to where it says session 1. I'm going to delete it and I'm going to put in session 2. And I'm going to click Save and New again. Okay, and I'm going to keep doing that until I have 6 delayed charges. Okay, so we'll go ahead and copy and we'll go ahead and make our third one. And you get the idea. So I'm going to actually go back and I'm going to create 6 of these. Once I've created all 6 of my charges, I can come into the customer detail page by clicking on the Customer Center and then my customer's name in order to view all of the transactions I just created. Now notice I have my sales receipt here, but I also have those 6 delayed charges and they're all 0, right? Because we had those 2 line items that canceled each other out on the face of the delayed charges. Okay, so let's pretend that John Doe came in and we actually gave him his first massage. So we need to actually create the transaction to record the massage that we gave and reduce one of those delayed charges, one of those prepaid revenue items. So what I'm going to do from the client detail page, and I'm just going to show you one more time how I got there. I'm going to click on Customers, and then I'm going to click on my customer's name, and then I'm going to come right over here and I'm going to click Start Invoice right next to Charge 1. When I do that, it's going to copy all of the information from the delayed charge over onto this invoice. So you'll see it says Session 1, 60-minute massage. Okay? And from here, I can go ahead and save this transaction. Okay, if they use more than one session or you were in another business where they could actually redeem 2 things at once, maybe it was a, maybe it was an entertainment, an entertainment place like a kid's playhouse and they sell you a packet of 10 and, a client comes in or a customer comes in, then they're actually going to use 2, one for them and one for their friend. You could actually pull more than one over onto each invoice. Okay, but we're just going to save this one for now. So I'm going to click Save, and I want to show you the journal entry behind this transaction. So again, I'm going to click on More, and I'm going to choose Transaction Journal. Now this transaction journal shows us the journal entry that we created by creating that invoice. So we see right here that we debited that unearned revenue account, and lo and behold, we credited massage revenue income account. So we've actually reduced our liability and we've recorded the income by creating that invoice. So let's head on over to our report center and take a look at how these transactions have affected our reports. I'm going to click on the report center, and the first one that I want to look at is the profit and loss. So I'm going to click on profit and loss, and we're going to change the date to this month. And you'll see that only the $62.50 from that one massage is showing up on my P&L. Okay, so this is accrual basis. It's not showing me cash basis. And something I do want to note to you, because this is important, that if I were to run a cash basis report, this amount isn't going to change. It's not going to pick up that $375 that we received from our customers. So if you need cash basis reports, this workflow is not going to be the right one for you, or you're going to have to find some other way to reflect that $375 because it's not going to show up here. So this is really for accrual-based businesses. Okay, let's go back over here to reports, and this time we're going to run a balance sheet. And again, I have to change my dates to this month. I'm going to click Run Report, and look, there's our $375 that we received from John for the 6 package, the 6 massage package. And if I scroll down here, there is my unearned revenue of $312.50 because, hey, he used a massage, so it was reduced. And I could actually click in here to view the transactions, to view the transactions that make up that balance. So that's really great. Now, for our customers, they're going to want a report that they are able to look at periodically to see how many sessions each of their customers has left. So let's go through the process to create that report now. We're going to go back to our report center in the left navigation pane. And this time we're going to click on All Reports, and then we're going to click on Review Sales. We're going to scroll down here till we find the unbilled charges report, and we're going to click on it. All right, now you're going to see that right here we have unbilled charges, and look, we have all of these different charges for our 60-minute massages and our sessions. Okay, we only want to show our unused sessions, so we have to filter this report so it's only showing us those unused sessions. So to do that, I'm going to scroll back up to the top here, and I'm going to click Customize, and then I'm going to choose Filter in the Customize window, and then I'm going to select only the product and service that I want on this report, and that is those prepaid sessions right here. So I want to filter to only show those prepaid sessions so I can see how many are left. So I'm going to choose that, then I'm going to click Run Report, and you're going to see now it's showing me only those delayed charges, those unused sessions that I have. And what I can do here is I can actually come in and edit the header to show my unearned revenue. Or I can call it whatever is meaningful to me or my client. It could be unused sessions too. So I actually like that one better. We'll call that unused sessions. Okay, then I can go ahead and save that. And then what I can do is I can save the customization. And when I click Save, it will add this report, this modified report, to my Custom Reports tab inside the Report Center. So let me show you how to find that as well. So we're going to go ahead and, one thing I just want to note here is notice that, it's totaling the total that John Doe has open. If I had multiple customers here, all of those customers would be listed and it would show me what their balance was. So I would very easily be able to come in here at any time and tell my customer how many unused sessions they have left. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to our Report Center. I'm going to click on My Custom Reports right here in the middle. Do you guys see that? Right there in the middle, My Custom Reports. And there's our unused sessions report. So to run this report, I just go ahead and click unused sessions, and it will open up that report for our client or for us whenever we want. So this is a great workflow. You can use these, for any of your clients. There's lots of different ways that we could use this workflow for our business or for our client's business. But the purpose of this is to keep track of prepaid sessions or prepaid events that are happening in our business and automate that entry and be able to keep track of it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Here at Satterley Training and Consulting, this is what we do. We're here to help you through these tricky transactions, and we can help you design workflows that will work for you and your clients. So check us out at qbotrainer.com, or you can find us on Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Take care, everybody.